Christian Malik, how art thou doing?
Good evening, good evening. Craig is here recording. Never mind him.
Here's my question, Christian Malik. You ready? Where's Abdul at?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me invite him up. He's been running his mouth in the comment section for a while.
And you know the Islamic dilemma is tied into the free will that Islam does not give anybody, right?
Here he
I
is.
do. So,
Right. Let's do this quickly. King Baldwin, you said you don't want to do a formal debate. I respect
I don't
that
do formal
choice.
debates, man.
Right.
Not at all.
Let me interject here very quickly. Go ahead, King Baldwin. Ask him the question, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, before we continue, I want the questions to be related to the Islamic dilemma, like you stated.
Yes,
Of
it's
course.
Islam. Don't worry. We won't talk about anything else. We'll talk about Islam. Go ahead, King Baldwin. Ask this
Okay.
a huge Imam Sheikh scholar that has been barking in the comment section for a while now. All day he's been saying that you've been running scared of him. Let's see who's the scared ones right now. Go ahead, ask him the question, sir.
Okay, the Quran makes claims. And of course, these claims can be tested. You know, claims about the previous revelations and all of that. But you know, there's something else. It's called let me see. Previous revelations is one thing, but that's not the main test for me. The main test for me is a simple question. Because I'm going to test the claims of the Quran. I need you to show me a group of people before the time of Muhammad that believed about Jesus the nonsense that is taught in that Quran. Go ahead, sir. The mic is yours.
Islamic dilemma. I thought we were going to be discussing the Islamic dilemma. Do you even know what that is? Baldwin, do you know what the Islamic dilemma is? The thing that you have been
Is
speaking
it
about the
just me
entire
or is
day.
the mic's
King
really
Baldwin.
low here? Is there any way to make
His
the mic
mic is extremely
louder?
low. It sounds like he's wrapped up his mic on the dirty laundry and he's talking from outside it. Go ahead, King Baldwin. Repeat the question because I don't think
No,
he heard you
I
properly.
I heard the question perfectly fine. My problem is this question is irrelevant to the topic. The topic was the
Talk
Islamic.
closer to the mic, sir. Talk closer to the mic.
The topic is the Islamic dilemma, and this is not the
It
Islamic
is the
dilemma.
Islam.
You know
It
what
is an
to say.
Islamic dilemma. It is.
It is, man.
It is.
It
Answer
is.
the
You
question.
know what the Islamic dilemma
Now,
is.
the
Do you know what the
so-called
Islamic dilemma
scripture
is?
preservation thing, that's coming next.
No.
But this is a dilemma. I need you to answer this, sir.
Okay, I think you missed the point here.
Are you,
The entire
Christian
point
Malik, is he
of
going to
this
answer
is
my question? Are they going to do what they did earlier?
No, I'm pointing out that you said we were going to discuss one thing and now we're going for something entirely different. You said you're going to discuss whether or not the Quran affirms the previous revelations, right? Now,
You see, here's my
you're not
point. Here's my point. Okay. There's a few ways to prove that a scripture is corrupt. Okay. The first way is you show the uncorrupted scriptures. Well, I know
my
Muslims are not capable of doing that.
my King
They're not
Baldwin.
they're
No,
not able to show
give me a second.
uncorrupted scriptures
Give me a second here because
prior to
this
the
is
time of
so irrelevant.
Muhammad that confirms. In other words, they can't show us another Torah.
My
They can't
friend, this is
show us
irrelevant,
an
and I can show you
Injil
another Torah. I
that agrees
literally
with the
can.
Quran. They can't. So here's
I
my
literally
question.
can. It's
The
not the
next
issue.
step is one of the evidences for corruption is to show us a group of people existing before the time of Muhammad who believed about Jesus the same nonsense that's taught in the Quran.
Right?
That's the other
If
thing.
you're talking waffling for a second. Again,
Now, if you can produce another Torah that agrees with the
can you
Quran,
hear me, or are
I'm
you
all
just, or
ears.
am I
If
like
you can
silent? Can
produce
you guys
another
hear me?
Injil that agrees with the Quran before the time of Muhammad, I'm all ears. But if you can't do that, you should be able to at least produce a group of people before the time of Muhammad that actually agrees with the nonsense that Quran teaches about Isa. Again, I am still waiting, sir.
If we're done, like I'm not sure if my mic is working, or did you just
Talk
leave
closer
go
to
there?
the mic. It works when you talk closer to the mic.
I told you very clearly, this is not what we came here to discuss, Baldwin. You came here and you told me that you're going to ask me questions about the Islamic dilemma, as in if the Quran affirms the
You mean the
previous
Islamic
revelation.
dilemma as the way God logic says it? No, sir. I
No,
told you
not
my
not the
name is
way that
not
God
God
logic
logic.
says it, but no,
You're talking to
I
me,
we literally
not
agreed to
God
this.
logic. Now, just say
Open
you
up
ain't
the
got no
chat.
answers to my questions. That's all you got to say,
No,
sir.
I
You
I
go home
do
and get
have
some
an
sleep.
answer.
Your
I do
choice.
have an answer, but like I find it very like weird that I came here prepared for something and you're hitting me with something else. This is not, at least be respectful, be
Christian
honorable,
Malik, am I
and
giving him
honor.
something else? Or am I giving him the Islamic dilemma? What's your thing?
Yes, we agreed in the chat. If you open the chat right now, you'd see I told you ask me as many
Well,
I didn't
questions
Abdul,
ask
can
you.
you
I'm
hear me,
asking
sir?
Christian
about the
Malik for
topic
Hello?
of Quran
confirmation.
affirms the Bible.
Christian
Hello, can you
Malik,
hear me?
sir,
Can you guys
am I
hear me?
discussing the Islamic dilemma? Yes or no?
A
No.
dilemma is a situation in which a difficult choice has to be made between two or more alternatives, especially
Right.
ones that are equally undesirable. A
Such
difficult
as the Quran
situation
affirming
or
the
a
Bible and
problem.
the Bible rejecting the Quran.
And King Baldwin is giving you an Islamic dilemma, as in
Right.
the
Okay.
groups that pre-existed. He's giving you two options. Both, wherever you land, it's a problem. This is why it's a dilemma. Do you understand what the word dilemma means?
You are not, I maybe you haven't read the chat, but me and him agreed that we're going to be here and we're going to discuss a specific topic. What is it? If Islam generally affirms the New and Old Testament. Open the chat and you would see that right now. Even he
So
said
Christian
he
what?
Malik,
doesn't want
didn't
to go
I
formal debate.
say that I did the
He
Muslims
doesn't
a
want to go
favor
formal debate.
and I solved that Islamic dilemma that God logic and them like to keep using? Didn't I say I just solved that? I'm not interested in that. Didn't I say that, Christian Malik?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't tell you solve that one. I told you solve whatever, any other
If
form of it.
Islam is true,
You used, okay, question.
if Islam
Do
is
you think,
true, for
question.
me, the argument that
Do you
God
think that the
logic
Quran affirms?
uses is easily solved. Because I
Do you
did it. I did it for Christian
do you
Miller.
think
Christian
that
Miller
the
says, "How do you
Quran affirms
solve
the
God
Bible?
logic's argument?" I did it for him. I'm not
Okay, do you
interested
think that
in
the
God
Quran
logic's
affirms the
argument.
Bible? For the last
I'm
time, do you
interested in
think the Quran
mine. I'm
affirms the
interested
Bible?
in my Islamic dilemma,
Great. Do you
not
think that the
something
Quran
that's
affirms the Bible?
predefined by God logic. I already
Okay.
solved him.
Do
If
you
I
think the
debated God
Quran
logic
affirms
on
the
that, I
Bible?
would do much
Do you
better than
think
the
the Quran affirms the Bible?
Muslims. I
I
have my
asked you
own
like
dilemma,
I asked
Islamic
you like
dilemma.
20 times. I asked you like 20 times right now. Do
So
you
my
think the
question to
Quran
you,
affirms
sir,
the
is
Bible?
the question to you
I,
before you say something is
he's
corrupt,
either
you got to show
overspeaking
us
me
the
or I'm
uncorrupt. Now, if you can't do that, which you cannot do, then you have
okay.
to show
Is my
me
voice any clearer now?
the group of people that affirms the fact that the Bible or the scriptures before Muhammad
Yeah,
were corrupt because they have a belief system that's
yeah,
identical to that which is taught in the
Abdul,
Quran. Again,
Abdul,
I'm waiting for that
yeah,
group of
Habibi.
people,
Am I
sir.
speaking to a
Tell us who
train
they
or am I
are.
speaking
I
to a
am
human
still
being?
waiting.
Stop.
Abdul, what's your issue here?
Okay, now, do you believe the Quran affirms the Bible? Yes or no? In any way?
Does the
The
Bible
Bible that you have.
say it? Does the Quran say it confirms the previous revelations? Yes or no, sir?
I'm asking for your opinion. Do you believe that the Quran affirms the New and Old
I
Testament you
don't
have
believe the
today? Yes
Quran
or no?
confirms the Quran, sir, much less the Bible.
Okay, so you
Again,
don't
I have
believe.
already solved the Islamic
So
dilemma.
you concede. Okay, good. So you concede that the Quran never confirms or
No, I can
or
see that the
affirm the
Quran
previous
does not
scripture.
confirm anything because
Then the
Allah
Prophet
leads
Muhammad
people
is
astray.
right. So sure, you
A
can
God that
say
leads people astray
then the
cannot be
the topic
trusted.
I came here
So
for. The topic I
therefore,
came here
when you say confirm
to be.
the
Okay.
Bible,
I'm just going
it's
to
like
add
saying,
that.
does it confirm the Quran?
All right.
Well, that requires
So
that you
now it's
trust
very easy.
Allah.
Now I already
But
won.
if you can't
I got what I
trust
wanted.
Allah,
I got what I wanted.
because Allah did not
Thank you.
choose to give guidance to you, meaning
Thank
that
you.
Allah is simply
Okay,
leading you
I'm gonna let you like
astray,
end out. No
then,
worries.
to me, it's a nonsensical thing that you're saying. So I'm making
Okay.
it real simple for you, man.
Right,
Real
you're making it
simple.
really
If
simple for
what
me
your
by over
Quran is
talking for like
saying, if
2 minutes, but
what you believe
I
is
already won.
true,
I already got what I
you
wanted.
should be able to show me at
Ah,
least
yeah,
a group of
difficult.
people before the time of Muhammad that believed exactly about Jesus,
Okay.
the nonsense that's taught in that Quran. I'm still
For,
waiting.
okay,
Now, as
okay.
an
The last
alternative, you
let
can
me end here
say
by saying
King Baldwin
thank you for letting me
is
win.
corrupt
Thank you for
because we
letting me win.
have
Thank
the
you for letting me
actual
win. Thank you for letting
Injil.
me win. Okay.
We
You
have
keep
the actual
over
unchanged Torah. And you see,
keep
both of
over
these
speaking on.
books agrees perfectly with the Quran, and they disagree with the scriptures you got. Now you can do that. But
Right.
if you
All
can't do that, man, you're
right.
stuck.
All
And
right.
I'm going to
You
have to
keep speaking.
reject Islam as
Uh-huh.
another
Yeah.
cult, just like
You keep over
Mormonism.
speaking.
To me, it's no
Yeah, keep
different than
over.
Mormonism. Go ahead, sir. I'm still waiting.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, all I wanted to say is thank you for letting me win. We came here to agree that I will make you concede that the Quran never confirmed to the previous revelations, that they already conceded to that. Thank you.
No, don't put words in my mouth. What God, logic, and them are trying to debate, they're trying to assume that Allah does not use deception. They try to assume that there's free will in Islam. That's what they're trying to do. They're arguing from that point. So when Allah says that He confirms the previous revelations, they just take Him at His word. I don't trust Allah. Allah's got to prove these assertions. Okay, and you're missing it. What I'm saying is, you could win this debate easily with me. Just show me that group of people before the time of Muhammad, or those scriptures before the time of Muhammad, that agrees with all that nonsense that's taught in the Quran. I am still waiting, man. Such a simple question I'm asking you, but as always, my questions are going to remain unanswered. Go ahead, the mic is yours.
Yeah, he left. The Muslims are celebrating because he's saying that you admitted that the Quran doesn't confirm the Bible.
That's not
And
what I
that's
said.
exactly what he was saying. He's celebrating. They're saying, MashaAllah, MashaAllah, brother, well
No,
done, Aki.
Christian Malik, I said the Quran doesn't confirm anything because Allah is a deceiver.
And he
I
said that
just,
he wanted to come here to prove to you that the Quran doesn't confirm anything.
it doesn't confirm the Quran. That's my point.
Okay.
I mean, if that's all he wanted to hear, what can I say? I asked him to produce a group of people. This is recorded, right?
Yeah.
How can I say that I told him the Quran does not even confirm the Quran. It doesn't confirm anything because you got a deity that is a liar and a deceiver. How can a liar and deceiver truly confirm anything? That's the context of which I'm speaking, Christian Malik. You understand my point?
Yes, of course.
If that's all he was here, if he wants to sit here and say that, that's why I say it's important that this is recorded so everybody knows what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just because the Quran says it confirms the previous revelations And it does do that. Doesn't mean that Allah does not lead people astray by corrupting them anyway, which is going to lead to the second part. Who can change the words of Allah except for Allah?
No one can change the words of Allah.
That's the next question I'm going to ask them. The follow-up question is, why did Allah corrupt the previous revelations then? Because humans can't do this. Why did
Yeah,
Allah do
I don't think he'd want to debate anything else. He's just claiming victory, and all the Muslims are praising him on
it? Well, they can
the.
praise all they want. You know, this is recorded, right?
Yes.
Go ahead and play it on YouTube as is and see how that turns out.
Okay, so I guess that's the end of the debate. We'll finish it here. I will end the recording. I need to get back into the room to tell
Okay,
the bot to stop recording.
okay, sir. Talk to you.
Okay. I'm gonna hand it over to you, King Baldwin, and then we can
Okay.
show the evidence and everything else. So, how do you think that debate went, or even if you want to call it a debate, tell us what happened, sir?
Well, it started in the chat part. Okay. A guy named Unknown was claiming that the Bible was corrupt. And I just simply stated that the reason why you're making this claim is because the Bible condemns you to hell. Same strategy the Shias use. This is how we got on the subject of the Shias. The Shias don't agree with what you teach. So they say that you corrupted the Quran and that you corrupted Muhammad. In other words, you got to counterfeit Muhammad. So this is what Muslims do. When something doesn't agree with them, they just call it all corrupt. So one of the Muslims, it might have been Abdu or whoever, claimed that the Shias agrees with them. So I said I went to the Shia scholars, and the Shia scholars went through all your Sunni sources and said that you guys corrupted the Quran. Matter of fact, 75% of the Quran is gone because of you Sunnis. You guys completely corrupted the Quran by your own sources. And then, as you saw in my screenshot I sent to you, Christian Malik, he says, well, the Shias are not authoritative to us. I said, but the Shias are quoting your scholars, man. All your ancient Sunni scholars are quoted by the Shias. So then, Unknown quoted Surah 15:9 about the Quran being perfectly preserved. I said, that's circular reasoning. By the way, it doesn't say Quran. It says the reminder. What does the reminder mean? And he says, I didn't know Arabic. He says, I'm lying. I'm ignorant. That's not what the Arabic is saying. Then he looked it up and then he acknowledged that was what the Arabic said. I said, well, what is it then? Tell me. What is the reminder? He never answered me. So then Abdu jumped in there and mentioned something about the Islamic dilemma. And he gave a little speech about that. And I said to him, what is the Islamic dilemma to you, man? And that's it. I walked away from the discussion. Because Christian Malik, you know my position on this. I don't defend the Islamic dilemma the way God Logic, David Wood, Sam Shimon, all these guys do. I do not do that. Okay? Because my position is there's no free will in Islam. And Allah is an absolute deceiver that leads people astray. And I know that even though Allah says nobody can change his words, Allah can change his words. In the Quran, it states that Allah causes his verses to be forgotten. Why is Allah doing that? This is Allah will replace missing verses with similar verses. Well, how come you couldn't get it right the first time, Allah? I mean, what does that mean? Similar. Why can't you just replace them with the same verses that turn it up lost or missing? And then he says he replaces inferior verses with better verses. Well, Allah, why couldn't you get it right the first time? Why are you putting substandard verses in the Quran? So for me, this completely destroyed Allah's credibility. He's manipulating his own words. He cannot be trusted. And you have no free will. I asked a Muslim, if Allah pre-decides or predestines that you turn right, can you turn left? He says no. Then you don't have free will, man. It's that simple. I'm not going to go into the free will thing. It's kind of wordy right now. But there's no free will in Islam. So nobody can corrupt any scriptures. But Allah can. And because Allah can corrupt scriptures, because Allah can lead people astray, then Allah cannot confirm anything because he cannot be trusted. That was the position in the video. I said this lying, deceiving Mohammedan told you I never said those things. And you're sitting there witnessing what I'm saying. Isn't that right, Christian Malik?
Exactly. And I'm going to play the recording where you were mentioning the Shia scholars for the benefit of the listeners.
Yes.
And here we go. The recording's going to be played.
Abdul, you just caught lying to yourself. What do you mean the Shias agree with you about what, man? I got the references from a Sharia website, clown. What are you talking about? We got Shias on video confessing that the Sunnis corrupted the Quran. So what in the world are you talking about? Are you using Hiyel on us? Obligatory deception from the Sharia? Debate you for what? In a private little voice chat? I'm talking right now. I've already asked you to show me in the Quran where it says only the Quran is a reminder and nothing else is. I'm still waiting, man. That's a question. You know, debates are like, everybody talks past each other. No, I'm not talking past you. You're not going to talk past me. I'm asking you a question. Show me in the Quran where it says only the Quran is a reminder and nothing else is. I need to see that. And if you can't show me that, then you is just proving us that you are a liar and a deceiver. That's it. Just like the Sharia says you are. Your choice.
There you go. And hopefully by now they have heard the recording that we
Okay.
placed. And go ahead, King Baldwin. You can carry on.
Okay. So the Quran says in Surah, I think it's 39:37, that whoever Allah gives guidance to cannot be unguided. And the Quran says, I think it's in Surah 16, I think it is, where Allah gave guidance to Isa and his disciples to spread the message. This is Allah giving all these people guidance, right? And once they've been given guidance, they cannot be unguided according to the Quran itself. Because ain't nobody got free will, by the way. So my question to the Mohammedan is, since the Quran claims that there were people before the time of Muhammad that received guidance from Allah and they cannot be unguided, I would expect to see these people, groups of them, evidence of this in history. See, if you can't produce your so-called uncorrupt scriptures, you should at least be able to say, well, here's the evidence. We got groups of people living before the time of Muhammad that believed about Jesus, the same nonsense is taught in the Quran. But we can't find any of these groups. We can't find anybody or anything that agrees with this pagan Quran, the nonsense in this Quran. We can't find anything. If we can't find anything, that means Allah has been lying and deceiving this whole time. Talking about he's confirming that which was before, confirming what's between your hands. He's not confirming a damn thing. He is not confirming anything. He is just lying and deceiving. That was the position I told that Mohammedan. And they gonna sit up here and lie because he thinks that this wasn't recorded. Okay?
And
I made
what's your? Sorry to interject. I just wanted to get your views on this. What are your views on you bringing up this Mohammedan? Me being the moderator, giving him a platform to talk. He was talking a hell of a game in the comment section. I'm your witness. There was no. The debate is going to be about the Quran confirming the previous scriptures. You said already to him that damned if you do, damned if you don't. To you, it doesn't make a difference if
no, it doesn't.
Muhammad came with the name of the real God, or the Quran confirms it or doesn't confirm it. Islam is false regardless. It's false on the contradictions in the Quran. It's false on the attributes of Allah. Is false on the morality and the actions of Muhammad. But what's your views on a Muslim acting tough, saying that he wants to get into a discussion with you, and then making up a little argument in his head to say you've conceded, and then running away and claiming false victory? What are your
Well,
views on?
here's my point, Christian Malik, is he offered to debate me when I was talking about the Shias exposing the fact that the Sunni scholars had clearly stated that 75% of the Quran was gone, completely gone, and more sections were gone, that the Quran was a complete disaster. That's when he offered to
You
debate me.
mean
So initially,
you mean the Shia scholars, right?
yes, the
Yes.
Shia
Okay.
scholars combed through the Sunni traditions and said, according to the Sunni traditions, the Quran is hopelessly corrupt. Most of it is missing, gone, and it's the Sunnis that corrupted the Quran, and this is why they are not Sunnis. When he said, "I want to debate you, uh, King Baldwin," I thought that was going to be the topic about the corruption of the Quran. I really did. But then when he came in there and he said he wanted to talk about this Islamic dilemma, I said, "Oh," and I made it clear. I don't agree with God Logic, Sam Shimon, and David Wood on the Islamic dilemma. I don't care about their definition of the Quranic dilemma because Allah doesn't even confirm the Quran. He doesn't confirm anything because he's a liar and a deceiver. I said that in the debate. I said, since you're Allah, it's not me saying it. The Quran says it. Allah leads people astray. Allah can change his own words. Since Allah can do all of this and no one has free will, the only one that can corrupt any scriptures is Allah, not humans. Because in order for humans to corrupt scriptures, it means they got to have free will, and they don't have this in Islam. Now, Christian Malik, you know, we have already demonstrated this numerous times. There is no free will in Islam. When Allah chooses that you do things, you must do them. There is no escape. No one can go against the will of Allah according to Islam, the Quran. And so since humans are not responsible for anything, like Adam was not responsible for his actions, and then Muhammad stepped in and he said, Moses, Adam is right. Adam doesn't have free will. He was forced to sin because Allah made him sin against his will. So since there's no free will in Islam, and you got a God that deceives everybody and leads them astray, because it's not Allah's desire that people be saved. His desire is that hell is filled up with people. How does he fulfill that desire to send people to hell? He does this by leading them astray. And the Arabic says he does this by misleading them. They're not misled, but he misleads them anyway. You see? And once they're misled, they cannot be led to the right path. Just like if he gives people guidance, they cannot be unguided. You see? So my take on the Islamic dilemma is far more serious. It's deeper. Okay? The Quran makes claims about people receiving guidance before the time of Muhammad. I know according to the Quran, these people cannot be unguided. So there must be evidence of these people somewhere on the planet. Hell, we got evidence for every heretic there is. So my point is, my challenge to him in that debate, show me a group of people before the time of Muhammad that believed about Jesus, that nonsense that is taught in the Quran. I am waiting for your answer. And he is sitting over there tap dancing, talking about something that I never agreed to. If you comb through all the text, Christian Malik, and go through all the voice text, nowhere am I trying to take God's lot, nowhere that even talk about the dilemma. I mentioned it once. I said, what's the dilemma to you, man? I said, well, that's great, man. I got to go. And that was it. I never brought it back up, never agreed to debate on it. So he's trying to say that I'm going to take the position that the Quran declares the Bible to be true. And for some way, he was able to unpersuade me about that. Christian Malik, did you see any of that in the debate, sir?
No, no. What I saw in the debate was he asked you a question. Does the Quran confirm the previous scriptures? And your reply was, the Quran doesn't confirm anything. The Quran doesn't even confirm the Quran. But that
Exactly.
part where you said the Quran doesn't confirm anything, he went and he took and he ran with it and he started celebrating, but he ignored the part where you said the Quran doesn't even agree or confirm the Quran itself. And then
And
when
what
you
was,
said that Allah is a deceiver and that there is no free will, and show you a group of people who believed about Jesus, the nonsense that is taught in the Quran, he ignored all of that. This man, I don't know if I should call him a man, this mouse was looking for a way out of this discussion. And he
yes,
got it. He got it. But he didn't want to leave and admit that he was scared to engage.
yeah,
And there's,
clearly
you
so.
know, when Mohammedans are scared to engage, they will either one, they would start manifesting, insulting, and then we will have to remove them. Two, they will claim victory and leave the call because he never got booted. He left in his own accord.
Oh, there's a third one too.
Go ahead.
That is, they will start over talking. I couldn't get a word in edgewise. He kept interrupting me. He said, but we agreed. We didn't agree to a damn
Yeah,
thing,
but the
Muhammad.
difference between um that guy talking and you talking, it's your microphone is way better than his. Like I said,
Right.
he could barely hear what he's saying. It's like
Right.
and he was even asking, "Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Get a better microphone. Come
Mm,
online with the right technology. Don't be
right.
buying $1.99 for headphones from eBay and then coming in here." I said to him, "It sounds like you've buried your mic in a box of dirty laundry where we can't even hear you." And I said, "Talk closer to your mic." He was talking, and
Right.
he was just looking for a catchphrase,
Hmm.
soundbite. There was a lot of straw man happening, and
Right.
then he lied. He lied. There's the screenshots where when I said the debate has been concluded, the Quran does not confirm the previous scriptures, and it doesn't even because it doesn't. The Quran doesn't say that Jesus Christ is God. It doesn't say so.
Exactly. That's my point.
So even if it does confirm the previous scriptures, damned if you do, damned if you don't. We get it. This is an old argument. I believe that When the Quran says that they sent over 140,000 prophets and that many people believed in Allah in all of this, it goes back to your question. Show us a group of people who believed about Allah or who believed about Jesus, the nonsense that is taught in the Quran. We need to see this. And he failed to do it. He clearly heard what you were saying. He was
Right.
just too fearful to engage. And he was looking for a way out. And then he was in the comment section celebrating. The Muslims were praising him for his wonderful victory. And I was in a state of shock. I couldn't believe. To me, I would rather me get refuted. I'll be like, you know what? You got me on this, man. I'll need to come back. I'll do some studying.
Sure.
So and so. But he didn't do that. He was a cheap shot. He was a soundbite, straw man, cheap shot, ran away, claimed victory, lied. He posted a screenshot with half of my quotation so he can show to his friends, and it was all disastrous from there.
Yes. Yes. He buried himself. He absolutely buried himself. But see, I have a lot of experience with Mohammedans doing this. This is everything they do is based on deception. You know what the Sharia says, Christian Malik. The Sharia tells us that Muslims are deceivers. Not me saying it. The Sharia says it. They are permitted to lie and deceive us. It's called the doctrine of Hiyel. The Encyclopedia of Islam states that the goals of Muslim is not to seek truth, but only to convince or persuade through deception. So the Sharia tells us that Islam is a violent mind control cult of pure deception. And what do deceivers do? They do what this Mohammedan did. He just proved everything I just said just now. So Christian Malik, that's just my input to bring some context to this, but I did take the time to go through all the screenshots between me and this Mohammedan clown, and also the sound bites, the voice messages. At no time did I even mention the word Islamic dilemma at all. I just asked them the question, what is the dilemma to you, man? And then I just walked away. I was done with it. I concentrated on demonstrating the Quran is hopelessly corrupt.
I think when
And
people talk about, I think it's a bit too much of a push to call it the or the Islamic dilemma. I think it's
yes,
a Islamic
exactly,
dilemma. There are many Islamic dilemmas here, not just
exactly.
not just
Good point.
one. There is no the Islamic dilemma. This is why you're like, which what are you talking about here? Which
Right.
one?
Which one are you talking
The
about?
whole Islam is Allah is a dilemma. Muhammad is a
Exactly.
dilemma. The Hadith is a dilemma. Their whole ideology is a dilemma.
Their
What are you talking about?
ancestry to Ishmael and Abraham is a dilemma.
Of course,
What dilemma do they not have? They're loaded with dilemmas. That's why I asked them, what dilemma are you talking about?
exactly. But when you look at these Christians and they're making these videos, when they're like the Islamic dilemma, it's just okay. The Quran confirms the previous scriptures,
Who cares?
and the previous scriptures are against the Quran.
Who
And if
cares?
the Quran doesn't confirm the previous scriptures, it lied. So it's like, I get it, it's a lose-lose situation, but that's not the only dilemma. Oh, Muhammad didn't come with the name of the Lord. Okay, so what if he did come in the name of the
Right.
Lord? What would you be? Because in the Torah, many false prophets come in the name of the Lord, and it says, "Thus saith the Lord." And
Yes.
if you say something and it comes to pass, that man is a false prophet and he should be stoned.
But if
So
it doesn't
coming
come to
in the
pass,
name of
that's
the
what you
Lord
said.
doesn't help you. Not
You
coming in
meant
the
to.
name of the Lord doesn't help you. So that's
Right.
another Islamic dilemma.
Right.
Coming in the name of the Lord, going against what the Lord teaches, going against these attributes doesn't help you, and that's what Muhammad done. Not
Yes.
coming in the name of the Lord doesn't help you. That's what Muhammad done. That's another dilemma.
Dilemma.
But these people don't understand that they're fixated with one. It's a soundbite, like a soundbite about Aisha, Aisha, Aisha.
Hmm.
How about Fatima? Fatima was a 9-year-old girl too. But
Right.
everyone's obsessed. That's what you say in the noise. They just
It's in the
repeat
noise.
here, parrots, repeat here, parrots in the noise. So this is one thing that I try to stay away from is the noise. And I
Hmm.
make up my own arguments. I don't watch these
Yeah.
other Christian debaters because when I was in Speaker's Corner debating without cameras, this was raw. This was back in 2011. And it's only
Yes.
now you're getting people like David Wood, God Logic, and all these Christians traveling all around the world to come to Speaker's Corner for a couple of hours when I've been there for years. Hours
Yes.
from 10
Yes.
a.m. in the morning all the way to 11 p.m. in the night every single Sunday. I used to meet up with Jay Smith. We used to go to All Saints Church. We used to study. We used to walk there. But now you're having all these cameras. People are using YouTube channels to make money. It's become a clown show. It's become a bunch of parrots repeating, "Oh,
The
I'm
same
this, I'm
stuff.
that." Like, we're all students here. There is no teacher. We're not church fathers. No
Right.
one knows more than the other. But there's people who put themselves up, but it's only repeated stories from the 60s, from the 70s, even before that, calling Muhammad a false prophet, calling him a pervert, saying that he's violent. All this is like Saint John of Damascus. These are
Hmm.
old. These arguments are thousands, like 1,300,
Exactly.
1,200 years old. There is no new argument that none of these guys on YouTube, including myself, are
Hmm.
coming up with. All this is repeated rhetoric. This is why I try to stay away from the noise and I like to just think my own way. I don't like to read articles because these people that are
Exactly.
writing these articles, they copy these articles or these arguments from other people. I don't do that. I try and stay away from all of that, make up my own argument because that way you become better. I don't use none of these. Oh, Islamic dilemma. Oh, the original Quran only. All these. I don't make up all these TikTok um new age kiddie arguments. I don't do that. Me, I'm simple, original, quick, quick to the point. This is how I like to deal with things.
Well, case in point, Christian Malik, like when Lord Dion did that super long series on Islamic monotheism, going into all the pagan origins of Islam, all the paganism and all that, I simply asked Lloyd a simple question that he had never heard before, and he was in a complete state of shock. I did it right on the phone with him. I said, Lloyd, you're a scholar about the pagan origins of Islam. Maybe you can answer this question for me, sir. Show me a time before the birth of Muhammad when Allah did not have three daughters. I need to see that, sir. And Lloyd Dion was in a state of shock. He said, where in the hell did you get a question like that from? He said, I couldn't have thought of that in a million years. He said, King Baldwin, that is a genius question, you see. And that's the impact you have when you don't just copy paste everybody. Does that make sense, Christian Malik?
Yes, of course, it makes sense.
I
So,
think you came up with God so loved the world argument, right?
yes,
And we use that to expose the fact that there's no free will in Islam. We work together on this. Nobody else is doing this but us.
exactly,
My Islamic dilemma, nobody else is doing this but me, right? Who else is doing this?
exactly, exactly.
So this is why I work with you.
So this
Because
is why when you mention Islamic dilemma, they go to these other Christian videos that they saw, and all of them are repeating the same thing: the dilemma, the dilemma. No, this is why he said which dilemma. Like, do you know how many? Do you know how many dilemmas I have in this bag of tricks? Like, do you think
exactly.
I'm here recycling the same argument that all these Christians are copying and recycling off each other? Like, what dilemma? You know, you've
And you
got one
saw me
pistol.
ask that.
You've got
You saw
one
me asking it,
pistol.
right?
You've got one pistol. We have an arsenal of weapons.
You saw me
This is
asking that, right?
why I was confused. Yeah. It's written there. Everything's been uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
They heard your voice note. They heard what you said.
Mm-hmm.
The listeners, the viewers, they're going to see the screenshots and everything, and we're going to see that Islam is deception.
Exactly. Like you say, since Allah states that He is giving guidance to people before the time of Muhammad, and these people that received this guidance spreaded the message. And like the Quran states, that Isa and his disciples and apostles were given guidance by Allah. They cannot be unguided, and they spreaded the message all over the known world of Islam. Okay, well, where are these group of people at? Before the time of Muhammad, what group of people before the time of Muhammad believed in the nonsense that's taught in that Quran? That Mohammedan did not want to deal with that question. He ran from it. He started panicking. He started trying to redefine dilemma. I said, I'm not interested in God logic's dilemma. I don't care what God logic has to say on this matter. I reject God logic's dilemma argument. To me, it's irrelevant. Mine is relevant, and you got to answer mine, man. I'm not interested in God logic. I'm not interested in your so-called the dilemma. I'm only interested in you answering my question, which he never did, Christian Malik. But the fact that he humiliated himself by lies and deception and got caught doing it. It's just embarrassing for the poor guy. I almost feel sorry for him, but I don't. Christian
Actually,
Malik, our purpose is to expose the deception of Islam. And I appreciate these Mohammedan trolls because they have been very cooperative in helping us do that. And as always, their cooperation is much appreciated. What's your thoughts, Christian Malik?
exactly. I agree, and people can see this. The evidence is out there, and
Yeah.
just got to move on to the next one. See what the next
Hey,
one is saying.
yes, like I said, we will take on some more Mohammedans as usual. Hopefully this time they'll be better qualified to talk and answer questions. We'll see. So, is that it, Christian Malik? Can we go ahead and shut
Yeah,
it down? Or are we
yeah,
good?
that's it. We can shut it down. Thank you all for listening, and may the peace and love of Christ remain with you all.
God bless everybody. Okay, Christian Malik. I'll see you over at Skype, whatever. Okay, night night.
Peace out.